What if I told you the biggest unsung hero in our fight against climate change is also becoming its biggest victim? We talk a lot about the air we breathe, the forests we see. But what about the vast blue world that covers 70% of our planet? The ocean. For decades, it's been silently absorbing a massive chunk of the carbon dioxide we've been pumping into the atmosphere. Like a giant cosmic sponge, it's been cleaning up our mess. But what happens when a sponge can't absorb anymore? Worse, what happens when the very thing it's absorbing starts to poison it from the inside out? Today we're not just talking about climate change, we're talking about its evil twin, ocean acidification, and the alarm bells are ringing louder than ever. This isn't a problem for the future, it's happening now. And the story of what's happening beneath the waves is more dramatic, more urgent, and affects you more than you might think. Stick with me, because what you're about to learn will change the way you see our oceans forever. To understand the gravity of the situation, it is helpful to consider the concept of planetary boundaries. These are scientifically defined thresholds that mark the safe operating space for humanity on Earth. They represent the natural limits of key global systems such as climate, water, and biodiversity, beyond which human activities risk irreversible environmental changes and a breakdown in the Earth's life support systems. By 2023, scientists had already determined that 6 out of 9 of these critical planetary boundaries had been crossed. Ocean acidification had previously been identified as being in danger of crossing its boundary. However, a new study published on June 9, 2025 in the journal Global Change Biology delivered a stark and unsettling revelation. Ocean acidification officially crossed its planetary boundary. This means that on average, the world's oceans are now operating at or beyond a condition previously considered the danger zone for marine systems.
Acidification is interfering with the ability of corals to reproduce and replace what's being lost.
Experts says ocean acidification as a ticking time bomb for marine ecosystems and coastal economies, and delaying action is akin to gambling with both biodiversity and billions in economic value. So, how does this work? It sounds complicated, but the basic idea is simple chemistry. Think back to high school science for a second. When carbon dioxide or CO2 from our cars, factories, and power plants dissolves in seawater, it triggers a chemical reaction. It creates something called carbonic acid. Now, acid is the key word here. Imagine our vast ocean with a finely tuned chemical balance for millions of years, suddenly having its pH level drop. It's becoming more acidic. Over the last 200 years, the ocean's acidity has increased by about 30%. A 30% increase. Think about that. That's like changing the entire recipe for the soup of life that is our ocean. And the creatures living in that soup are starting to feel the burn. The first and most direct victims of this change are the builders of the sea. Creatures like corals, oysters, clams, and even tiny microscopic plankton. These animals pull carbonate ions from the water to build their shells and skeletons. It's their version of bone. But as the ocean becomes more acidic, those essential building blocks become rarer. The carbonic acid essentially steals them. It's like trying to build a house with bricks that are dissolving in your hands. For corals, this is catastrophic. It leads to weaker skeletons, slower growth, and eventually bleaching. The vibrant, bustling cities of the sea turn into barren, white graveyards. But this is where it gets truly scary. It's not just the corals. Our oceans pulsed with incredible life, from vital coral reefs to tiny sea butterflies and coastal shellfish. But a silent crisis is sweeping through its depths. Ocean change is dissolving these wonders. Tropical coral reefs, a shocking 43% loss of suitable habitats. Polar pteropods, crucial food for whales, face up to a staggering 61% habitat loss. And along our coasts, 13% of shellfish habitats are vanishing. This isn't just about certain areas. Our surface waters, 40% have crossed a danger boundary. Deeper to 200 meters, it's 60%. Vast stretches are becoming hostile. The ocean's vibrant pulse is fading. These aren't just numbers, it's a desperate cry from the deep. The domino effect. Remember those tiny plankton I mentioned? the ones at the very bottom of the food web, they are the foundation of everything. They are the grass of the sea. Small fish eat them, bigger fish eat those fish, and on it goes, all the way up to dolphins, sharks, and the tuna in your sandwich. When these tiny shell builders struggle to survive, the entire food web starts to wobble. It's a chain reaction. Fewer plankton means less food for the fish that depend on them. That means less food for the bigger predators, and ultimately less food for the hundreds of millions of people who rely on the ocean for their protein. This isn't just an environmental crisis. It's a food security crisis in the making. Imagine a life shaped by the ocean's rhythm. For generations, people on the West Coast thrived, supported by a $272 million shellfish industry and 3,200 vital jobs.
The ocean is not a backdrop to our lives. It is our life. Every Maldivian depends directly on the ocean for food, for income, for survival.
Oyster hatcheries have already seen massive die-offs of their larvae because the water is too acidic for them to form shells. They are on the front lines fighting a chemical battle they can't see. Tourism is another one. Who wants to pay to snorkel or dive in a graveyard? The collapse of coral reefs threatens a multi-billion-dollar global tourism industry and the countless jobs that come with it. The numbers are chilling. We've lost 13% of global coastline habitats, a silent cost of over $100 billion in mollusk loss by 2100. Our beautiful coral reefs face 43% loss of suitable habitats. Shattering economies, global seafood supplies are shrinking, driving prices up, coastal communities are facing job losses, their livelihoods erased, a gamble with billions in economic value. The ocean's silent collapse echoes globally. This isn't just about data, it's a profound human crisis affecting every coastline. The tide is turning. What future will we choose? The problem is massive, but here's the good news. We are not helpless. The same force that caused this crisis holds the key to its solution. The root cause of ocean acidification is carbon dioxide emissions. So, the ultimate solution is to reduce our carbon footprint. This means transitioning to clean energy like solar and wind. It means making our industries more efficient. It means protecting our forests, which are the planet's other great carbon sponge. And it means all of us making smarter choices in our daily lives. Every action, big or small, to reduce emissions helps slow down this acidification. Scientists are also working on innovative local solutions, like cultivating acid-resistant coral species and restoring seagrass meadows that can absorb CO2 and create local pockets of healthier water. The surprise twist: the ocean is getting louder. Okay, here's something you probably haven't heard before. This is the surprise moment. We've talked about shells dissolving, but what about sound? Scientists have discovered that as the ocean's pH drops, it changes the way sound travels underwater. Lower frequency sounds, like the ones used by whales and submarines, can travel further. Now that might sound cool, like the ocean is getting a better sound system, but it's not. For marine mammals like whales and dolphins that depend on sound to navigate, find mates, and hunt, this is like living in a city where the background noise is suddenly cranked up to an unbearable level. It's disorienting, confusing, and stressful. So not only are we making it harder for animals to build their homes, we're also filling their world with noise pollution. We're fundamentally changing the very physics of their environment. The ocean has always felt timeless, but our actions have proven that it is not. We've changed its very chemistry in the blink of a geological eye. But the story isn't over yet. The ocean is resilient, and so are we. We have the science, we have the solutions, and now you have the knowledge. The hero that has been silently protecting us is now crying out for help. The question is, will we listen? If this story opened your eyes, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who needs to see it. Together we can turn the tide. Thanks for watching. See you next time.